Nearly every day that passes, there's a new report of an escalation of words, tensions, and fears rising from the rhetoric between the United States and North Korea. Many have forgotten that in reality, the United States and Korea signed an armistice, not a peace treaty, leaving the Korean peninsula in a rather precarious position. This war began nearly 70 years ago, in 1950, when the communist North Koreans pushed to take over the democratic South. The United Nations, with its primary manpower coming from the United States, came to the aid of the South. The North, later with the help of the Chinese, was unable to take control of the South, ending in that uneasy armistice which was signed in 1953. But this didn't come before the war could change the lives of millions and leave an indelible imprint on the lives of those who fought and lived with its aftermath. Communist leader Joseph Stalin callously and truly noted that, quote, "One death is a tragedy, 1 million is a statistic." In other words, to feel, one has to do more than absorb numbers and calculations. To really feel, one must live through the torture and hardship. Short of that, there is something else we can do. We can listen to the story of one. While a million stories overwhelm our mind, the story of one can change the heart. Here we take a moment to listen to the story of one man, Korean War Army veteran Harry Herbstreith.
I just wanted to go. I don't know where. I didn't like working there. Why? Get off the farm and get away. Get away from the farm. "16, I think. I and another fella from Hastings, Keith Savico, I remember him. We was in town one day around the pool hall. We decided that we wanted to join. And we went up to the office where they joined up and signed up. Next thing I know, we was in Detroit. After we got in Detroit, they sent us back home for 2 or 3 days, 4 days, something like that. Get ready to send us for training at Fort Knox, Kentucky. And I spent 13 weeks in basic training. '49. '49, I think. I don't. My memory sure ain't that good. It's in '49, I think. I don't know, really, I don't know now. Somebody did, I guess, or I lied my leg. Well, I did one bad thing. I forged my birth certificate. I forged that. That one, they found it out after I got to Fort Knox. That I wasn't. Was in, and I could have got out then, but I wasn't going to.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Oh, I started meeting some new people. And I just...
You like traveling?
Yeah, I wanted to travel. They shipped it from Fort Knox to Japan out of March, I think it was. And then... So we had from Fort Knox. I went home a few days, and then they shipped the Seattle Seattle, Washington. And we took up there for probably 7 days or so, getting a bunch of shots before we went over. And then and I signed up for Far East when I signed. Oh, where do you want to go? When the recruitment started, I was at Far East, Japan. So they give us a bunch of shots before we left. And then about 14 days, I think it was, in Seattle, and that was nasty weather there, nothing but fog and rain. And we went the long way to Japan. We stopped in Alaska, and I don't know how long, it was about a month on the boat. But when we got to Japan, they signed me First Cavalry. And the first night we landed in Japan, you know what happened?
No.
They had a minor earthquake. And in going over, we had the roughest seas. I think they wouldn't let us up on deck for 3 days. They just tossed that boat everywhere. And our trays, we had to follow our trays to eat. And everybody smoked and there was no ventilation. And then after they let us out on 3 days, the thing just had, that ship needed painting, I think. So they had us out there chipping paint. Well, I got out of that. I don't know how, but I got somehow or another, I would go way out of that. But I played cards for about 30 days. And then landed in Japan and went down to Osaka. But the First Cavalry was based just outside of Yokohama. And I trained up there, got a little bit of trouble here and there. And every day I got in trouble and I got a little bit of a job. And I got that rheumatic fever when I was out training. And I just went out in the field. First thing I know, I was in Yokohama Hospital. And I don't know how long I was there, but they wouldn't let me. After I woke up, I don't know how many days I was out, but they wouldn't let me alone. They'd take me outside in the yard, but the nurse was always with me, night and day, till I got able to get out. And then some jokers got me to go to town when I wasn't supposed to be. So they transferred me out of that outfit to the 31st Infantry Division. And you know what that was?
No.
Way up next to Russia. Well, you could look over and right near see Russia. Cold, snow in July. And I fooled around there, got a little bit more trouble, and they put me on detail driving for a captain. And he was captain over the colonel of the regiment of the 17th down in Sendai. And I got talking to him and he asked me, he said, how do you like driving for a colonel? Well, I love it, because I was doing the 6x6 anyway. And they put me that extra detail. And the next thing I knew, my transfer come through, my captain didn't know it. Up to 31st, he called me in. He said, what have you done? What did you say? You got a transfer here to the 17th Regiment, driving for a colonel. Now, how did you arrange that? And I had a good captain. And he said, you done some talking or something? I said, no, I didn't. And I drove for that colonel for 2 years till Korea broke out. And then they started shipping us to Korea. And that's what I'm happy. But I drove for a colonel while I had my own apartment. It was about this size, but I had my own bed and I had my clothes was always hanging, waiting for me every morning, pressed and ready to go. They had me a 49 Chevy sitting outside that I chauffeured So, and I wrecked it. And had to then go down to ordnance. And the general asked the colonel, did you court-martial him for or punish him for it? He didn't know. He's still my driver. And I drove with him till the Korean War. But I had it made. I lived like a king. When Korea broke out, everything seemed to go all to pieces. And so I asked the colonel, I said, they just shipped a bunch of tanks in. And they had just starting up a tank outfit. And I asked the colonel if I could be in the tank outfit. And he said, sure. So he put me in with the tanks. And I was a tank driver. And then we went to...
Can you turn it off for just a second? Where?
Well, I was still driving for the colonel until we left, even though I was in the tank outfit, until we got on the ship. And then I was assigned to a tank. But I stayed down in where the 25th was stationed at the general place down there for a week. And then we shipped out. And then we were shipped, we were shipped, I can't think of the name of that town now, I told you a number of times, to go in to cut off the enemy, to cut off their supply line. And we landed in Busan, I think it was. We shipped out on LSTs. I think there was, I don't know how many tanks we put on one LST, but after we got there, they couldn't land us. We just set out there like a target because they had to wait for the tide to come in to landing before we could land. So when the tide came in, then we made the landing, but it was nervous sitting out there, not knowing what was coming off. Because I was young, like crazy, I didn't know nothing.
Yeah. Okay, how many in your tank battalion? How many in your tank battalion? You were the tank, the head of that tank. How many was in there?
There's 5 on the tank crew. There's a driver, an assistant driver, and the gunner, and the machine gunner, and the tank commander. Tank commander is either a first sergeant, or a master sergeant, or a lieutenant. They were tank commanders.
And you were he was a bad
He was the lead. You were the head of that tank.
No, I drove tank.
You drove tank. That was.
I just a sergeant.
You were a staff sergeant.
Yeah.
Well, you got higher than I did.
Yes.
Well, I tell you, I don't even know where it's at. I was just a private then. And on the way up to, before we got on the way up to the river, the lieutenant come out, and I was fooling around. He said, I'll take these stripes away from you before I give them to you if you don't straighten it up. Because I was doing things I wasn't supposed to have. Because in the tanks you could put a bottle behind the dashboard and then setting it to you, but you're supposed to not be just out there shooting.
Yeah, did you get down near the Battle of Incheon? Were you near the Battle of Incheon?
Yeah,
Incheon?
Incheon, that was it.
Incheon.
Incheon.
Yeah.
That's where we landed at, Incheon. I said it was Busan, but it's Incheon.
It's one of the battle sites. Like there was the Chosin River, there was a battle at Incheon.
No, we landed there
Okay.
and go to the Yao River up there,
You landed at
where the Chinese was.
to go to the
But we didn't know the Chinese was there. MacArthur didn't know they was there.
That the Yellow River.
until they started overrunning us.
Now you need to tell Lily about what you told me about those waves and the Chinese.
Oh, they just march down the road in waves. I mean, just like you take a platoon and march, and that's the way they march them in. There's so many of them.
The Chinese.
Yeah, I didn't see all that. I heard it. But gas, we had to watch your gas, and it's so cold we had to keep a generator running to keep the oil warm in the tanks. They were 35 degrees below zero. We had one tank roll down the mountain. Yeah, because our tank, some of our roads going up through them mountains, the tracks would hang over like that on the side, and when you turned from the back of the track was off the road, but just straight down. But there was enough of us there, crazy enough, didn't know no better, drove them anyway. But my tank crew would move from one side to the other, going up the mountain. I remember one day they caught me out in the middle of the field wandering around, and they got me back in. I don't know what I was doing out there. Nothing. Just this big field, about 10 acres, just up there on top of the mountain somewhere, or going up. And then I had a good tank commander at that time, Master Sergeant out of the Second World War. They wanted to make him lieutenant. And he pushed my head down, the only reason I'm here today. He said, there's a sniper in that tree. You could hear the bullets hit the tank.
Yeah.
He said, there's a sniper in there, and he pushed me down in the tank. Said, get down in there.
Yeah.
I see a bunch of Chinese, and I didn't think anything about it. Laying out in the field, you know, where we've shot them. Walked over and didn't even pay no mind to them. Didn't mean nothing. But when they relieved MacArthur up there, that hurt. Because we could look down, and we was on top. The 31st was down below us. And that's where when the whole 31st, 111 men come back. I don't know how many Marines is down there, but they annihilated. They had two choices. You get shot or freeze to death, one or the other. You had no choice.
The Yellow River?
Yeah. That's where they told MacArthur he couldn't bomb over there. He could bomb half a bridge. And I heard later MacArthur told him, how you bomb I never bombed a half a bridge. But they were coming across the bridge. They were coming across the bridge, and we couldn't run fast enough. We had to run. We had artillery fire. I woke up on the run. Nothing but a line of 105s behind us. We had to stop. Well, the first night we stopped because none of us had no sleep. We couldn't go much further. And we all stopped.
Yeah.
And the 105s was firing back to hold the enemy back. And we wasn't 100 yards where the 105s were going right over us, and I couldn't hear nothing after that. 2 days before I could really hear it go again, because they were just so noisy. We was just on the run.
How long were you there, Dad?
Huh?
How long were you there?
A year.
A year.
Yeah.
Probably 1953.
No,
52.
we had to come back to Japan or back to Korea on the boat. After we got back, we loaded back up on the LSTs, what was left of us, and went back, circled back around, and started back up to Seoul again, Seoul, Korea. We got as far as Seoul, and my time was up before that, but there's no replacements. So we started back up to Seoul again, take the same territory over that we already took one time. That's the 24th and 25th took, and we was coming up and taking it back over again. Some of the 24th and 25th tanks are still there, burned up, destroyed, because they only had the M24 tank, small tank. We had the big tank, the M4 Patton tank. But after we got back up to Seoul, I got a chance to come back home.
You came back to 53, didn't you, Dad? Finished up 53?
52, I think it was. Back to Seattle, and then back to Kentucky, Fort Knox. Then I got a furlough finally. And that's about it.
And you never went back to the farm after you left? You traveled around?
No, I just didn't land really. I went back for about 6 months or a year. Maybe I'm back here, maybe.
I don't remember you coming back.
Didn't I? I don't know.
You said you didn't.
I don't remember a lot of things. A lot of things I don't remember. I drank quite a lot when I come back, didn't I? I drank pretty heavy when I come back.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
When I first woke up, she used a broom. Then with a broom, touching to wake him up. I remember that. Not that I got her hair up. She'd take the end of the broom and touch him. He was so tense when he first come back.
You know how long that lasted? Right up until probably 8 years ago. Because,
Really?
yeah, because I remember Mother saying, I had to get up. Your dad got going in that bed so, flopping his arms and restless legs. And I never knew any of the symptoms. And he would holler out, scare me, you know. And that was up and just recently, and every once in a while, but Dad, since we moved and after Mom, I don't know what all it caused, but he didn't have, but I remember his legs moving and I would wake him, and even now, I'll start tapping around the bed, because if I don't, right on it.
Yeah.
And I don't, and it startles me, because Bahika would fly right up out of that bed. He can't do it physically as much, but, yeah.
That's what Mom did, because he'd set up swinging sometimes. But he didn't know, you know.
That's what Mother would say. He'd start flapping his arms in bed, and she said, I'd have to.
Yeah, we never slept with a gun too. Never slept without a gun. Had a gun or a knife.
Roll. When they sleep, when they get you in, he said he used to get up and come back around and do it over.
I remember he told me that. I remember when he drank real heavy when I was about until I was 8.
But if you went, like in North Korea, you can't understand, if you haven't been there, how those people lived, how they survived. I don't know. We had one place going up towards the river. We stopped going up from battle. And we pushed wood under the floor to heat the floor to keep warm. That's where they heated, was under the floor. The heat, wood, you'd build a fire under the floor. Well, the young people don't know what they have. They don't know how they're living. They don't realize what countries they've lived in before this year, before they come to. Why does everybody want to come to America? There's a reason for it. They got freedom, they can do what they like, and they have some pride of themselves. But I think God taking the fear out of people. You got a lot of young people don't fear nothing. They don't trust him. And now I'd be, if I was a South Korean, I would really be nervous. They've wasted their time talking. Oh yeah, absolutely. You can read between the lines. I don't know what's wrong with them people up there. See, I can't understand them people up there. They should know better. They should know it. What would I tell them now?
Yeah.
Stand up for America. Be strong. Defend it. Realize what you got and what you're going to lose. We're the only country that's been free for all these years because America, the people that went to battle for that, believed in the country and they believed in people. And they love people. Americans wasn't mean. They love people. And they didn't start nothing, but they're going to stop it. Yeah, we had some crazy people. And there are some hogs out there. There are. One of them got a hog, butchered it, and hung it on the back of the tank. The general come along and seen that. And he said, whoa, no more. Well, he didn't say who, he used a different language. Get that off of that tank. Nobody knew how I got up there.
They never do.
Got it off all right, but didn't throw it away.
Nope.